الحمد لله رب العالمين له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله وخيرته من خلقه وخليله. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا محمد. Welcome everyone for this new course, and the whole course is about the explanation of the Hadith Jibreel. You may ask, 12 weeks for explain Hadith Jibreel? No, it's not 12 weeks. It's maybe 24 weeks to explain the Hadith Jibreel. And today I will explain why, and why we choose Hadith Jibreel specifically, and what is Hadith Jibreel. First of all, I want to remind myself and everyone here that when you came to this dars, you are now in a type of ibadah. The angels now, it's just above this hall, above this room. That's how Rasulullah ﷺ explained to us that any gathering for the sake of Allah wa ta'ala, discussing Quran or Sunnah, that the angels will come and gather with us and will have tranquility. So you have bonus even if you don't understand anything except that you come here. That's a big achievement, because Allah wa ta'ala will reward us for this. Secondly, talabul ilmi, seeking knowledge in our deen, is one of the highest type of ibadah. But there is a lot of ayat and ahadith emphasize this. And any book in hadith, you will find a chapter about seeking knowledge. Any book of hadith. Because there is Rasulullah ﷺ, he emphasized this a lot. And Allah Almighty in the Quran. And the first ayat revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Allah تبارك وتعالى in the first revelation to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentioned the tools of seeking knowledge. And he reminds us of his favor, that he gives us ability to learn. And he mentioned even al-qalam, the pen. That's from the favor of Allah wa ta'ala, from his generosity, that he gives us this ability to learn. And the best type of knowledge is the knowledge of revelation. In his book about the prophets, the Indian scholar Abu al-Hasan Nadwi, rahimahullah, he mentioned this story. He said, there are 3 young people just graduated from the college, and they decided to go in a trip. And they hired a boat, and they went in during the sea or the river. The boat belonged to an old man who never go to school in his life. So during the journey, the 3 young people, they tried to make fun of that old man. One of them asked him, "Oh, my uncle, do you know what is science?" He said, "I never heard this term before." The young man said, "Quarter of your life has gone." The second young man said, "Oh, my uncle, do you know what is philosophy?" He said, "What's that? It's something to eat or to drink." He said, "Half of your life has gone." The third one, "Oh, my uncle, do you know what is math?" He said, "No." He said, "3/4 of your life has gone." After a while, the weather has changed. There was a storm, and the boat started shaking right and left. And the 3 young people, very scared. So the old man looked at them with very confidence and asked them, "Do you know how to swim?" They said, "No." He said, "All your life has gone." The point here is, in that moment, if you don't know how to swim, science, philosophy, math will not benefit you. Also, in the day of judgment, there's essential knowledge. If you don't come across this essential knowledge, math, philosophy, science will not benefit you. Don't get me wrong, philosophy in good way, math, science is very important. But without the knowledge of revelation, in the day of judgment, it will not benefit us. If we gain the revelation, knowledge of revelation, and then add for that all these sciences that Allah Ta'ala encourages us to seek, then we'll gain a high level in Jannah. So that's why this type of knowledge is very important. Very important to remind each other, especially in these days, for the significance of seeking knowledge. 1 hour a week, only 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, the angels will make istighfar for you, ask for forgiveness for each one of us. And then you will come back with some knowledge. Try to discuss this knowledge with your family, with your siblings, with your parents, with your spouse. Very important. Hadith Jibreel. Hadith Jibreel is a very famous hadith that maybe most of you know this hadith, that when a man came to Rasulullah and asked about what is Islam, what is Iman, what is Ihsan, and when will be the hour, the day of judgment, what's the signs of the day of judgment? It's 4 questions: Islam, Iman, Ihsan, and the signs of the day of judgment. This hadith is one of the most significant hadith in Sunnah, that Al-Imam Al-Qurtubi in his book Al-Mufhim called this hadith Sunnah. It means the foundation of the Sunnah, this hadith. That Al-Imam Al-Qadi Iyad rahimahullah said that علوم الشريعة متفرعة ومتشعبة عن هذا الحديث. He say the religious sciences can found in this hadith and branch from this hadith. And the most important here is that many of the commenters of hadith, they mention that this hadith took place in the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's very important point. Jibreel is the one who came down with the revelation to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. From the day, that night in the cave of Hira, during 23 years, Jibreel came down with revelation. Now we are in the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Jibreel came again in human form this time to ask Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam 4 questions. And when he left, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إِنَّهُ جِبْرِيلٌ أَتَاكُمْ يُعَلِّمُكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. He was a Jibreel. He came to teach you your religion. It means Jibreel came in the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to summarize for us, to give us a big picture of our religion. Maybe you know many hadith, many ayat, but we need summary, we need a big picture. We need a good understanding for this religion. So he came in the end of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to teach us. But wait a minute, he didn't teach us. He just came and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam some questions. Rasulullah is the one who answered the questions. That's another point, that one of the method of teaching is to ask questions. Sometimes one of intelligent students, he know the answer, but he asked the teacher just to clarify for others. That's exactly what happened. Jibreel asked the questions and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam answered to clarify for the people. And Rasulullah and Jibreel, this is the angel prophet and this is the human prophet, in the end of the life of prophethood, gave us this summary. So it's very important hadith. And to let the Sahaba pay attention for this hadith. Jibreel came in very strange way, that he want every single companion in that gathering to focus. Listen to Umar when he described how Jibreel came to the gathering. Number one, he take that opportunity. Rasulullah ﷺ was in a big gathering with his companions. Then Umar said, while we were sitting with Rasulullah ﷺ one day, suddenly a man came in. And it started to describe that man. He has extremely white clothing, extremely dark hair, no signs of travel on him, and none of us knew him. Why he mentioned this? Because Medina at that time is very small. It's not like Manchester nowadays. The people in Medina, they know each other. And this is a man, no one of the gathering knew him. That's number one. It means he is a traveler, but no signs of traveling on him. Because he has a very white clothing and very dark hair. Why this? Because in Arabia, there's a lot of dust. If you travel, definitely your clothes will have some dust, your hair will change a bit color, because unless you came fresh and take a shower and change your clothes, but you are not from this city. So who is this man? So now this is intended that everyone is pay attention. Why? None of us knew him. They need to pay attention more. He came close to Rasulullah ﷺ straight away. Bear in mind that the Bedouin, when they came to Rasulullah ﷺ, they don't know him. They ask straight away, where's the Prophet? But this man seems he knows the Prophet very well. He came close to him, and he places his knees, he sat down, places his knees against the knees of Rasulullah ﷺ. And then he put his hands on the thighs of Rasulullah ﷺ. That make the companion shocked. What's this stranger man? Then he straight away said, "O Muhammad." He didn't say, "O Rasulullah." "O Muhammad, tell me about Islam." So all of this description of Umar show us that Jibreel wants them to pay attention to what will happen. And there's one sign more, that when Rasulullah ﷺ asked the questions, the first question, Jibreel said, "You have spoken truthfully." Umar said, "How is that? If a man asks question, it means he doesn't know. And now he said, you have spoken truthfully." So that make them also. And in the end of the hadith, he left and he disappeared. That some of the companions left behind him, but suddenly he disappeared. That's where they asked Rasulullah ﷺ, "Who's this man?" He said, "He was Jibreel. And he came to teach you your religion." Your religion, it means our religion can summarize in these three dimensions: Islam, Iman, Ihsan. And we need the signs of our, because we are the last ummah. We will face a lot of strange things in the end of the time. So that's the context of the hadith Jibreel in the end of the life, and it's very important because summarize. Let me here comment on the statement of Qadi Iyad, one of the prominent scholar in Morocco and Andalus, long time ago. He died 545 Hijri. He said that all the science of Sharia can found in this hadith. How is that? In Sharia we have sources. We have Quran and Sunnah. Even all the seerah of Rasulullah ﷺ, just during his Sunnah. So we have Quran and Sunnah. This is the sources. Then we can divide the sciences of Sharia. If anyone want to seek knowledge of Sharia, They will tell you from the beginning, will divide the science you need is two types. Number one is the tools you need to understand the sources, the Quran and Sunnah. That's where you go in a long journey in Arabic language, in usul al-fiqh, in the science of hadith, in mantiq, in logic. So this is tools to understand the sources. Okay, when you understand the sources, now you extract some benefit or some lessons from these sources. This ulum al-maqasid, which is three types of ulum, is very important. Number one is fiqh, number two is aqidah, number three is tazkiyah. Fiqh, aqidah, tazkiyah. That's the ulum al-maqasid. Hadith Jibreel is deal with this. Islam is about the fiqh, Iman is about the aqidah, Ihsan is about the tazkiyah. Tazkiyah means purification, tazkiyah means the morals and ethics in Islam, that's all in tazkiyah. So this is three main branches of knowledge covered in this hadith. That's why the Qadi Iyad said this statement. Then he asked him about the first thing, Islam. Rasulullah answered by mentioning the 5 pillars of Islam. أن تشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وتقيم الصلاة وتؤتي الزكاة وتصوم رمضان وتحج البيت. Is to testify that none worth to worship except Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Establishing prayer, giving zakat, fast Ramadan, and go to Hajj if you are able to do that. That's the 5 pillars of Islam. Then when he answered the question of Iman, he mentioned the 6 articles of Iman. To believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, the Day of Judgment, and to believe in Al-Qadr, divine degrees. So that's Iman. When he mentioned Ihsan, he said very profound statement. أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. That is to worship Allah as you see Him. Even though if you don't see Him, be aware that He is watching you. And then he mentioned the signs of the Day of Judgment. There's a lot of signs for the Day of Judgment. But in this hadith, he picked 2 signs related to each other. The first one, he said, a time will come when a young slave girl will give birth to her master. Very strange thing. What does that mean? And then another sign is a poor people, poor, very poor. And they will compete each other by building the highest building. Everyone, they were poor and suddenly they have a lot of wealth and they start competing each other who will build the highest building in this country. There's something in common in these 2 signs, that things will go upside down, that everything will change in social dimension. We'll come to that inshallah in details. The point here is, he said Islam first, Iman second, Ihsan third. And he said, Jibreel came to teach you your religion. In some ayat in Quran, we found that Allah, when He talked about the religion, He called our religion Islam. So when you say Islam, it means everything that Rasulullah teach us. But in this hadith, He defined Islam, He mentioned something specifically. When He mentioned Iman, mentioned something specifically. That's why the scholars always in the beginning of this hadith have a discussion. What's the relationship between Islam and Iman? If I say you are Muslim or you are mu'min, is there any difference? When I said, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ, for example, that seems Islam here is the religion in general, everything. So how can we understand these two terms, Islam and Iman? After long discussion between scholars, they come up with this statement that al-Islam wal-Iman إذا اجتمعا افترقا وإذا افترقا اجتمعا. What does that mean? It means these two terms, when they come in the same context, same verse in Quran, same hadith, they have different meaning. But if they come separate, then Islam is the whole religion and Iman is the whole religion. To explain more, in this hadith, Jibreel or Rasulullah mentioned Iman and Islam in the same context. Is that right? It means they have slight different meaning. Who can tell me any ayah in the Quran that Allah mentioned in the same verse Islam and Iman, or Muslim and Mu'min? Yes. Good. In Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah said, قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا. The Bedouin people that said, we are mu'min. Allah said, no, you are not mu'min yet. You are Muslims. Iman is still not entered into your heart. So look, when they come in the same context, they have a slight different meaning. Any other ayat? When Allah sent the angels to destroy the nation of Lut in Surah Al-Dhariyat, Allah said, فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهَا غَيْرَ بَيْتٍ مِّنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What's before that? قال فما خطبكم أيها المرسلون قالوا إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين لنرسل عليهم حجارة من طين مسومة عند ربك للمجرمين فأهلكنا من كان فيهم فما وجدنا فيها غير بيت من Allah said here that when they came to the village, they found only one house from Muslims. And we save one house mu'min. Why he changed the terms? Because Islam and Iman, when they come in the same context, Islam now focus in outward dimension, and Iman focus on inward dimensions. So in Hadith Jibreel, to pray, to fast, to go to Hajj, to pray, this is outward actions. But Iman, to believe in Allah, His messengers, His book, this is inward actions. Whenever they come together, Islam is for outward, Iman is for inward. When the angel came to the village of Lut, there's no Muslims in the whole village. No one converted to Islam from the nation of Lut. There's only one house, the house of Lut, his wife, and his daughters. His wife will punish with the nation. But when you look at the house from outside, you'll say this is a Muslim house, because Islam is outward. We don't know what is in the heart of his wife. We just say this is a household, this is Muslim house. But when the punishment came, his wife is left the house. She's not mu'min. That's why he said, after the punishment, a mu'min household. And then one of the Quran is very accurate in these terms. When it comes to A'rab, the Bedouin people, they said, we are believers, we are mu'mins. Allah said, no, not yet. Yes, you act in outward actions, but what about the inward? You need to work hard to increase the Iman in your heart. Another ayah in Surah Al-Ahzab, Allah said, إِنَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. Very famous ayah, which always a quiz in any Islamic school, in Hifz class, there is always, this is for quiz. Because students always confuse between the order of this 10 description of, shall we make this quiz for the brothers and sisters who can recite this ayah with no mistake? Inna al-Muslimina wal-Muslimat. In order. Go on, guys. No present, no. Next time you have to bring something here, some chocolate or some. So when Allah said, Inna al-Muslimina wal-Muslimati wal-Mu'minina wal-Mu'minat, do they come in the same context? So what's the rule here? They have same meaning or different? Different. They have different meaning. It means Islam is outward and Iman is inward. It means when they come in the same context, which is in high level, Iman or Islam? Iman. So if they come in the same context, Iman is high level. So Mu'min is a high level, is better than Muslim. Muslim, the one who submit and he pray, he fast, but what is in his heart is still very low. Mu'min is the one his heart is increase his Iman in his heart. Mu'min and Muslim. So that's why Jibreel mentioned Islam first, Iman second, Ihsan third. Because this dimension is in this order. Islam outward first, then inward first, then Ihsan is the high level of inward. That not just believe everything in this life, manners, ethics. If you treat your parents, if you treat non-Muslims, it will be in the best way because of one reason. You believe that Allah is watching you. That's why Islam, Iman, and then Ihsan. And these three branches also. Islam is about actions. Iman is about thoughts. Ihsan is about feeling. Again, Islam is about actions. So you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. You pray, you give zakah, you fast, you go to Hajj. This is actions. Iman is about thoughts, is about belief. What do you believe in Allah? What do you believe in angels? What? Ihsan is about feeling. What is in your heart? What do you feel when you pray? Another thing, Islam is about the details of Islam. You will find it in the books of fiqh. The details of Iman, you will find it in the book of Aqidah. The details of Ihsan, you'll find it in the book of Tazkiyah or Adab. So it's three branches. The last thing some scholars said, we have also three dimensions: the mind, the heart, the body. Islam is about your body. This is actions related to your body. Iman is actions related to your mind. It's some questions in every single human mind. Who is the creator? Why we are here? Where we're going after the death? Answer these questions is articles of Iman. So it's about the mind. And Ihsan is about the heart. When you do something and your heart is full of love of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, then in the end, and also the roots of these three words, Islam, Iman, Ihsan. Arabic language is very rich language. And when you study this language in a high level, you'll find that this is, you can take one single word and you can extract many words from that roots. And you can relate all these roots, all these words, to the roots, which is unique which one of the prominent scholars is non-Arab. When he studied Arabic in very high level, he discovered this unique feature. And he decided to write a dictionary, but it's a unique dictionary. This dictionary, he will take any root in Arabic, and he will set all the words you can extract from this root can refer to just one or two or three meanings. He will mention 30 words, different meaning, and you relate all of this to just one meaning or two or three. This unique dictionary called Maqayisul Lugha. The author is Ibn Faris, very famous author in Arabic language, called Maqayisul Lugha, 6 volumes. So he will relate all of this. So when you come, for example, when you come to Islam, any word in Arabic you can relate it to 3 letters. So Islam, the roots is Salima. Salima. Sin, Lam, Mim. If you add Hamza, Aslama, then Islam. What does Salima mean? Salima is someone who fears something, who is scared about something, and eventually he will now save. So he said, so and so Salima, means he became safe. Islam, if you submit to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, eventually in the day of judgment you will be safe. That's why Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala called himself As-Salam. As-Salam is the one who gives safety to the people who believe in him. This is Salima. Now we'll add Hamza, Aslama. It becomes transitive verb. Aslama, or even intransitive verb still. Aslama, it means to submit. It means someone looked for safety. And finally he found safety in worshipping Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then he submit to his Lord. We call him Aslama. Means he submit after he found that the safety is only in this way. That's why Aslam, become Muslim. And the notion of submission is very important. And that's why Allah mentioned this notion and explained it in the beginning of the Quran, in the longest surah in Quran, which is Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah is all about what does Islam mean. It's all about this. Because this is the most important idea or notion in Islam. And when he mentioned this many times in Quran, he said, Aslama wajhahu lillah. He turned his face towards his Lord. Why he mentioned his face here? Because usually, if someone is very serious and he wants to take that path, he will look seriously towards that path and go ahead. That's why he mentioned Aslama wajhahu, Aslam, his face. So that's the first thing of Islam, it's submission. When you submit, you should prove it. That's why Islam is about outward. It's about some actions that if someone look at you, oh, this is Muslim. Because I can see some actions outward, like Salah and Zakah and Sawm and Hajj and etc. That's why if you believe, if you submit to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, then you will do some actions. That's why straight away you will testify, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and start pray. That's Islam. Iman is come from, who can tell me what's the root of Iman in 3 letters? Go on. Very good. Usually when the lecturer asks audience, sometimes he intend to ask and sometimes he want to drink some water. So if he finds very intelligent person, he answer quick, that's not what he wants. Amina is the root of Iman. Iman is Amina. Amina in Arabic, it means again, he became safe. The same thing in Islam. Why he became safe? Because he's scared about this dunya. He don't know what's going on. Till he found that revelation, said, here where I can feel safety, Aman. The only one can give safety for him is Allah. That's why Allah named himself Al-Mu'min, which is the one who gives Aman, who gives safety. Like As-Salam, Ismullahi As-Salam, and Ismullahi Al-Mu'min. And do they come together in the Quran? Yes, that's in purpose. Al-Malik al-Quddus, As-Salam al-Mu'min. Salam, the one who gives safety, secure. And Mu'min, the one who gives Aman to his slaves and servants. So Amina is to save. That's why Iman is just some questions in your mind. You look for the answers, and when you found that answers, you feel safe. There's some scholars give this example. He said, these questions of Iman, just like if you open your eyes one day and you found yourself that you are in the airplane, and you didn't remember that you went to the airport. You didn't remember that you decide to travel even, or book any tickets. You just open your eyes and you are in the airplane. An airplane now is traveling. So the first thing come to your mind is some logical questions. Who brought me here? And where is this plane going to? These logical questions will always, even if they start serve food and your best movies start to come out, you'll never enjoy that food or movie till you find the answer of these questions. We are in this dunya. We should ask ourselves why we are here. Who brought us here? And when we are going after the death. That's the questions of Iman. If you find the answer, you'll find Aman, Amina, safety. Amana is to believe, firm belief. That's why this Iman is the always notion in Quran. The term Aqidah is not in Quran, not in Sunnah. It come later. It come from Aqada Shay'a ala qalbihi. It means when you put something in a place and you tie it firmly, don't want anyone to see it, that's called uqdah. You put that belief in your heart and you tight it, that's called aqidah. So Iman again is about the safety. But Ihsan, where did Ihsan come? What's the root of Ihsan? Let me drink the water, please. Okay, where's the roots of Ihsan? Yes, go on. Hasuna, mashallah alayki. Hasuna, exactly. Hasuna is, what does Hasuna mean? It's to be beautiful. It's to become beautiful, Hasuna. This is, so Ihsan is about beauty. Hasuna, to be beautiful. Ahsana is to make something beautiful. Now you know Islam and Ihsan, Islam and Iman. Make them, beautify them. Make them in the best way you can. How I can do that? أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه. Just to worship Allah as you see Him. If you can't imagine that, then be aware that He always watching you. If you realize that, you will beautify everything in your Islam and Iman. When you deal with your parents, you will deal in the best way. You'll beautify the manner. You beautify the ethics. Why? Because of that motivation that Allah Almighty is watching me. So that's the ihsan. Hasuna and ahsan, to make something beautiful. To make your salah beautiful, it means to pray in a sense of khushu'. What motivates us for khushu'? أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه. When we remind ourselves that Allah is watching us, then we'll beautify our salah. We'll make ihsan in our salah. Why when we deal with people, non-Muslims, we should treat them in the best way. What motivates us? That Allah is watching us and command us to do that. So ihsan is about beauty. That's why even when the philosophers, they talk about philosophy and the branches of philosophy, and they say this is the beauty, this is something about reason, and somehow the Hadith Jibreel also can cover that. The sense of beauty is here, the reason is in Iman, and Islam is about outward, inward in depth, action, feelings, thoughts, fiqh, aqidah, tazkiyah. Only in these three, only Jibreel came with that. Because this is concise. Think no human can came with that. This is a revelation. And in the end of hadith he mentioned, we'll come inshallah in next lecture, we'll inshallah talk about Islam, inshallah, from the beginning of next lecture. But just now they related about this hadith. He said, ask about the hour. Now the fourth dimension is the time. Human beings have always this curiosity about the future. What will happen? That's why now there's branches in any universities that they just try to predict what's will going on. They read the philosophy of history and the philosophy of history and try to grab some things, then we can predict what will happen to this nation. Why we do that? Because this is our nature. That's why Allah Ta'ala give us, because this is our nature, allow us to dream. When you go to sleep and you dream, that's your soul now go to the future, fly everywhere. You have very nice dream, you travel in different countries without booking any tickets, free, and you see something in the future even, and after few days or few weeks, it happened. Because Allah knows our nature. Give us this ability. For many reasons, this is one of the reasons. Another reason is to know that our knowledge is very limited. Look, when you are unconscious, you can see something, you can't see it when you are conscious. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. To give us also a window about what will happen in the day of judgment. How's the soul? That's all some reasons of why we are dream. So we have this curiosity about the future. We are the last ummah of Rasulullah. Rasulullah is the last prophet, and we are the last ummah. It means we will witness the end of the time. That's why Rasulullah, he talked a lot about the end of the time and give us a lot of signs, minor signs, major signs. He told us that the day of judgment will start on Friday, and there's a minor signs will happen before that, and there's a major signs. Many things he talk about. And people, when any event happens, big situation, they always try to interpret that related to what Rasulullah told us. Here, he mentioned only two signs to open the window that it's important to study this branch of knowledge. but it's very sensitive branch. Don't read about it just by yourself. Should discuss with others, should ask scholars, because it's very easy for someone who's just in the beginning of seeking knowledge to read a hadith in the signs of the Day of Judgment and interpret in his own way and do something disaster. And you know the famous incident in 1979 where some young people, they dream that one of them is a Mahdi. And they came to the Haram and they make a disaster thing because they interpret some of the signs of the end without discussing that in deep way. So that's why Jibreel gives just 2 signs. But these 2 signs is in common and related to the, in the end of the time, things will change and the people will go far away from the fitrah. The first sign is a young slave girl give birth to her master, either female master or male master. Very strange sign. That a young girl give birth to her master. What does that mean? That's why the scholars discuss this in different ways. We'll come to that later. But here, I will mention what I think is the strongest opinion. The strongest opinion is this is a science that the uquq al-walidain will spread in the end of the time. That a mother will give birth with a young girl or young boy. And when that young boy or girl grow up, he will treat his mother as he is a master and his mother is a slave. And that will spread everywhere. Because uquq al-walidain happen all the time since the Prophet ﷺ. But to become a phenomena, that's what the hadith talk about. That is, this social order is upside down. Because the core of any community is the family. And the family the authority is in the hand of the parents. If this is become opposite and the authority is just with the children and they treat their parents in a way that the parents become slaves and the children become masters, this is a disaster. This is a sign that the day of judgment is so close. And we can witness nowadays, this phenomena now is increased a lot. And now the sociologists sometimes talk about a type of parenting called soft parenting. Do you heard about that? That one wrote an essay that one asked them, can you explain for me what is soft parenting, please? He said, that is just like this. A young girl came from the school, sit on the table, her mom was in the kitchen for half an hour, and she put the plate in front of that young girl, some noodles, and she took that plate and made it upside down and said, I told you 1,000,000 times. Are you foolish? You don't understand? Shall I repeat that to you every time? That is what is talk about the phenomena that this will spread in the end of the time. He talked about this as a first sign. The second sign is that he talked about some group of people, they were shepherds, very poor, desperate, and suddenly they have a lot of wealth. And that wealth, they start to compete each other in one thing. Who will build the highest building in this city? That's a sign of the end of the time. which we can find now in many places. For example, in the United States, many of these wealthy people, they were just a shepherd of cows. And suddenly they became very wealthy, and they start to build these high buildings. That's phenomena happen in Japan, in the United States. And you can find this in Gulf area, where the people in the Gulf, they were also very poor shepherds, and suddenly a wealth which is incredible, and they start, some of them, to compete each other who will build the highest tower, the highest buildings. So Rasulullah talked about something in the future, and we can see it right now. It means that we are about to witness the end of the time. That's why it's a very important sign. The last point here, why he asked about the hour, the day of judgment, because we are the last ummah, then we should prepare ourselves for that. That's the core message. That's why in other hadith in Bukhari, a man came to Rasulullah and asked about the day of judgment, when it will take place. He said, what do you prepare for that day? So the point here is, what do we prepare for the day of judgment? We see now many signs. We talk about many signs. And so what? So it's a profound reminder for us to prepare that we can die anytime. And we see Muslims around the world, they die just in 1 minute. In Gaza, in Sudan, in Syria, in many places. That's a reminder for us that this is the day of end of the time, and we should prepare ourselves, prepare our children to beautify their Islam, to beautify their Iman, to come close to their Lord, to learn about their religion. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala guide us to the straight path. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala give us benefit of what we learn. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala relieve all the pain from our brothers and sisters in Gaza. May Allah give them strength, patience and yaqeen. Wa sallallahu ala abdi rasuli sayyidina Muhammad.